In this video, I'm going to teach you the 3 business credit tiers that you need so you can go from 5K to 50K approvals in no time. Let's begin. Let me talk to you. Yeah. All right, team or family. I am going to be breaking down some very important pieces of game in this video because everybody wants $50,000. $100,000, $75,000 approvals, but very few understand why some banks give them and others don't. But once you understand the bank tier system that I'm going to be breaking down for you guys, you're going to know which banks to build with, which ones to stay away from, and most importantly, how you can unlock bigger limits. Now, caveat, there are technically 4 tiers of banks. The 4th one is called Sub Financial, but for the sake of this video, these are not ones I would recommend for you guys to go to. So we're just going to focus on the big 3. And these are going to be the ones that essentially matter for most of you guys. And that's pretty much this breakdown here. So let's start off first with tier 1. Tier 1 banks are what we call national banks. So with national banks, these are Chase, Bank of America, Capital One, Wells Fargo. These are essentially the lenders that are available in every city, state, and zip code, and are some of the biggest banks in the country. So the pro is because they have a level of credibility and usually have more vast credit products to offer, most individuals usually go towards them. However, the con, which I don't really love about dealing with bigger banks, is that typically most of them have stricter underwriting, primarily because they can't afford to do that, right? You got to remember, these are lenders that are working with multi-billion-dollar corporations. So when we come to them with our $10,000, $20,000 a month business, they're like, 3K. Here you go. God bless you. Obviously, there are things you could do to position yourself to make yourself more attractive, especially to lenders like Chase. But that's neither here nor there. Quick side note: Bank of America is probably the worst with this, which is why I don't bank with them. I remember being with Bank of America for like 3, 4, 5 years. They started me out with a 3K credit card. I used that thing viciously to try and show them like, yo, y'all got to give me more money. Went for an increase, and at this time, I had the comparable credit. I had everything. They bumped me up from a 3K to 6.5K. And in that moment, I was this close to slapboxing with the bank teller, but I didn't because I have self-control. So I left it. I actually closed my credit card with them and closed my account with them. But Bank of America, if you're watching this, okay. Tier 2 banks are going to be regional banks. Now, these are our personal favorite of mine. These are banks that are available to individuals that live in certain regions of the country. So this is Truist, this is your Key, this is your Citizens, this is your First Third, this is your Huntington. PNC for some people could be, if you look right now, PNC is the 5th largest bank in the country, but PNC also isn't available in all city, states, and zip codes. So I'm like, all right, does it fall in tier 1? Does it fall in tier 2? For the sake of this video, it's kind of like borderline in my opinion, but regional banks are great because they compete with tier 1 banks for our business as small business owners, right? They're more flexible with their underwriting. They provide you quicker decisions, and they offer a great sweet spot for the approvals of 15K to 25K out the gate that you may need for your business, which is awesome. And then tier 3 banks aren't actually banks. They're actually what we call credit unions. So with credit unions, similar to regional, they're specific, but they're not specific to people that live in certain areas. They're specific to certain people, period. So with credit unions, they're member-based, they're relationship-driven, they're often super lenient, and some examples of them is like Navy Federal, you have Teachers Credit Union, Police Credit Union, and so for example, if you wanted to apply for a Navy Federal, you can't get in unless you've served or someone that you know has served, right? Teachers Credit Union, if you're not a teacher, you can't apply. Police Credit Union, I think you can kind of put 2 and 2 together by now. So what's great about them is that they're super easy for approvals, but some credit unions don't necessarily always offer business credit products, which isn't the greatest, but if you know which ones to go to and go through that have those business credit products, you could go with Crisco. So we understand the 3 tiers of banks: national, regional, credit unions, right? Now, how do we reverse engineer this information to take our approvals from 5K to 50K? So first off, I recommend you guys going and starting with banks where you'll actually win. If you found that Chase is not giving you the money you're looking for, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, then pivot over to tier 2 and tier 3. They're more generous with giving you money anyway. And especially those regional banks that are only specific if you live in Dallas, Cali, Missouri, Wyoming, don't matter. If you have banks in your backyard that no other city or states have, they are definitely going to be more than willing to give you the money that you're looking for. But you're just so hopped up on trying to get money from Chase that you're overlooking them when you should be working with them to get that bag. Most of you guys may be saying, okay, well, Marv, I know how to get with tier 2, which is regional, but tier 3, you just said with tier 3 banks that or tier 3 lenders, i.e. credit unions, we can't get in unless we're a certain group. I can't get in Navy Federal. I ain't never served. I can't get in Teachers Credit Union. I'm not a teacher. I can't get in, Banner Federal Credit Union and all these different all these different credit unions because I'm not associated with the groups of people that they serve. 2 gems for you guys is financialfitnessassociation.org and americanconsumercouncil.org. So with financialfitnessassociation.org, you can literally pay $8 for a 1-year membership and you're able to to get access to over 30 credit unions all across the country as just from you being a member of this association. Another one is American Consumer Council, which most people know. I'm more of a Financial Fitness Association fan just because they're new, not newer, but less people know about them. Most people know. With American Consumer Council, you could pay a lifetime fee of $15 to where now you have access to well over hundreds of credit unions all across the country. So that's how you open the floodgates to be able to start dibbling and dabbling with tier 3 lenders. Now, if you need help finding tier 2 and even tier 3, I know I'll put tier 2, but I'll put tier 3 and tier 3 banks near you. These are the two resources you want to use. Bank Branch Locator, which is a tool that you could pretty much use to find any bank in any city, state, or zip code. Let's say you live in Denver. You can find every bank under the sun that's in Denver. Those that are big are tier 1, so Bank of America, but tier 2, so see Bank of Colorado. However, you're not going to get tier 3 lenders here on this website because Bank Branch Locator only gives you banks. So that's why we come to ibanknet.com, where with ibanknet.com, we can get banks and credit unions. So you would come to this website here, you go to the bank map, and once you go to the bank map, let's say you live in Oklahoma. If you want to find credit unions that are in Oklahoma, you would simply click here and boom, you literally get every credit union under the sun. You pair this list with Financial Fitness Association and American Consumer Council. There are several credit unions that they are partnered with that are on this list that you can now go out if you are in Oklahoma, build relationships with, and start getting access to that money. So please do not sleep on this. Once you find those lenders, let's say you get 2 or 3 credit unions, 2 or 3 regional banks, please remember to build relationships before you apply. Open the checkings, open the savings, deposit the money, and connect your, if you have a merchant account and you make money on a monthly basis, I don't care how much it is. I don't care if you make $50 a month in your business, connect your merchant account to your bank so that $50 can be deposited in there because the bank is weighing that into their decision-making on how much money that they're going to give you. Now, things I need for you to consider, once again, I would prioritize tier 2 lenders for most of you guys who are watching because regional banks are the most slept on gem as of right now. I'm recording this in 2025, but you may be watching this in 2026. And I'm sure that's still going to be the case. And I want to be clear, I am not anti tier 1. Anyone who watches me knows I practically worked for Chase at this point, the way I talk about that lender, but I'm pro strategy. Right? So once again, if you feel like you haven't had the success you needed to at tier 1 banks, start leaning toward tiers 2 and incorporating them in your funding strategy so you can maximize how much funding that you're getting access to. The next thing I'll tell you is please understand and remember that this is a process. We talk a lot about 50K, 75K, 100K, but the reality is not everybody's going to get these big approvals. Some of you guys are going to have no choice but to start at 10K, 5K. And that's okay because remember, we're in relationship with the bank. And like most relationships, things take time. So when you first get that 5K, 10K, however much it is, be happy with it. Give yourself 3 months, use it as much as you possibly can, then come back to the bank and be like, yo, can I get more? And you'd be surprised how quickly you'll go from a 5K limit all the way up to a 15, 20K limit if you're consistent and the bank is able to see that. The next thing I'll tell you guys is that comparable credit matters. Super important. Like people come to me all the time and they're trying to figure out why it is they're not getting the approvals they want. And a lot of times when I take a look at the report, it really just comes down to the fact that your limits on the personal side are too low. Remember, we're going personal guarantee to get access to the money that we're looking for. And if the limits on the personal side is low, on the business side ain't going to be nowhere to go. All right. Take that to the bank. So make sure that before you apply for these business credit items that you take your personal limits from 3K, 4K, 5K, wherever they may be and get them up to 10K, 15K, 20K, however high as you can possibly take them so that the bank is pulling your personal credit report. They see those limits and they're more likely to give you higher limits on the business side as well. If you follow this strategy and you take time to understand these tiers before the next time you go and apply for business funding, your approvals will go from just doing a mere 5 to 7 to 10K to easily getting 20, 25K, 50K plus approvals and beyond. But family, as always, thank you once again for watching this video. If you receive value, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button below for more videos that are coming out. And more importantly, if you are in need of business funding or you want to learn the business funding game and you want me to teach you how to repair your credit, structure your business, and create $50,000 to $100,000 funding sequences, click the link in the description below and head over to my free masterclass that I host every single week where I teach you the game from the top all the way to the very bottom. Or if you're watching this and you need help restoring your credit and you want it done completely for you, head over to my company's website at takeofffinancial.com. That is takeofffinancial.com to book a free consultation with me and my team so we can help you get one step closer to having the credit needed to get the business funding you are looking for. As always, family, I appreciate each and every single one of you guys. And until next time, peace.